What's going on, everyone? How's it going? I'm here with the god of smart injury doctors,
there you go.
creator.
Hey, on Sunday night, you can say that. We're in here Sunday night.
The creator. He is the creator. When I was thinking of the title, I was joking, and I said, well, I wasn't joking. I said, hey, should I call it the creator? And then Dr. Cronk got a kick out of it. And
right. No, I said Lord Cronk. That's how much I got a kick out of it.
Anyway, most of you probably know who Dr. Cronk is, but if not, let me give him a little intro, and then he can toot his own horn and talk about who he is a little bit, and then we can chat about this. But Dr. Cronk, we've been using your system since December of 2019, before the world ended, and we've put this into our clinic with personal injury. You and I became good friends. You even flew out here for our last Impact event. You've helped us out in our clinic with personal injury.
And I'm coming out to the next one.
You are, which is the end of February, which is going to be awesome. That's a 4-day event. I'm looking forward to sitting down with you and hearing what you're going to do in a several hour mastermind session. And Perfect. So cool. And so with that, everyone, Dr. Cronk, Smart Injury Doctors, he's jumping on this to talk about our Black Friday countdown special, which is you can join Move Now University. We have an 18 payment option. Why so many payments? Because I was trying to get the monthly down so low, $318, that it was a no-brainer. And if you're on the fence, you can justify $318 to get access to a whole program that's going to transform how you do things in your practice. And you also surround yourself with other people, like people I surround myself with, like Dr. Cronk.
Right. Plus, I mean, I think the reason why I jumped on, Todd, tonight, I mean, you had said, hey, look, I got this program that we're doing a Black Friday program. I've been in here for the last 4 days on the holiday. Actually, I got my son sitting right here next to me, and we're rehabbing our program. And I know you, the creator, I mean, he's heard me talk about you, my son, Isaiah Cronk. He's heard me talk about you as like how good you are with systems, how organized you are. I mean, I call you the king of creating really good, valuable content. But the biggest thing is you created a rehab program. I don't care what size the clinic is. I don't care where you are. Hey, if you got size to put rehab facility in your clinic, great. If you don't, you can actually build your way up to handling or to addressing rehab. I'm in the injury space, Todd. You know that. There's not a practice in the injury space that shouldn't have rehab. And you should have good rehab protocols. One, because it's really good for the patient. That's the primary purpose. Sure. But two, if you understand how good it is for the patient, then you go to the next step and say, well, how good is it for you? You know, how good is it for you when you get better results and you basically get better referrals, happier customers? How good is it for you when you get highly paid to do the rehab? How good is it for you when you got another resource, whether you do injury work or non-injury work? I mean, when I looked at Todd and I looked at his numbers, I mean, I'm a clinic guy. Like most of the doctors listening, you know, you listen to, and when you look at the numbers, you go, oh my God, this is amazing. The numbers are amazing. Todd won't talk as much about the numbers, just like I don't talk when I'm talking about my own program. I don't talk about the numbers. But when I looked at his numbers of what an average clinic would do, and then once you put in rehab, what it would do just on your non-injury side, let alone what it does to your injury side. And then when I looked how systemized his program was, how organized it was. I mean, when I looked at his program the first time, I was like, oh, it's like looking at a new space age car. And you looked over and said, oh, wow, you know, my Cadillac or whatever I'm driving is like pretty cool. Right. And then you look at this like space age car and you go, oh, crap. You immediately introvert and say, oh, my car's not that cool. I did. I totally did. So, you know, if you're looking at rehab, I have a program, Todd Pickman and the Move Now You organization is the organization that I refer people to when they want to put rehab into their clinic. Todd and I will be doing something later with home care kits, and which is already included in his program. If you're in his program, it's already included. It's a no-brainer. So, you know, definitely if you're thinking about it. Plus, the other thing I'm going to say is the biggest sort of roadblock that I've found for a person's success is for their unwillingness to invest in themselves. You're only limited. Your success is only limited by how much you're willing to invest in yourself. I don't know about you doctors that are listening tonight. I've invested in a lot of things outside of my clinic. Very few of those things have really panned out, right? Outside of my expertise. I've tried it. They haven't panned out as well as always when I invested in me, always when I invested in my own clinic. That's where the ROI came in. And it was super high. Plus what he's charging for this program is really, really minimal compared to what, if, like I said, if you look at the numbers and, you know, you call, he's got right here, hey, text me at 505-480-1923 with questions, or email him. You know, you text him or email him, get on with him, let him explain what those numbers are.
I got it.
Totally. So anyway, that's what you know, if you want to talk more about it.
Yeah. Well, thanks for throwing in your 2 cents on that. I mean, it's flattering to hear, but it's also good for, I think,
It's
other
true.
doctors to hear. Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I feel the same way about the stuff you create. I think that the program that you have is phenomenal too. It just keeps going, and there's so many dimensions to it. And that's
right.
That's why you and I became friends, because I think both of us have that same mindset of really trying to make it not just a single piece of the equation, but hit it from every single angle, so that if someone follows the process, they're going to be successful with it.
Right. Plus, it was really, really great. You know, I mean, you had the guts or the courage, whatever you want to call it, to go, hey, I'm going to have a mastermind in the midst of this pandemic, so-called pandemic, whatever. Yeah. And, you know, to come out and to listen to what some of your providers, even though you had a really small, you know, it wasn't a large group, but to listen to some of the successes that your providers were having with your system. You know, I know for me, it's nice when I hear about successes, but now I'm in the outside. I know your program really works. And now I'm listening to what your people are saying about it. It was fantastic. It was fantastic.
Yeah. That's cool. And really, from the very beginning, and on our first Facebook Live that I did 2 days ago, because I've done several of these the last couple of days for this.
Wow, you're a monster. You're a content monster.
This is number 10. I got 2 more I got to do today. But the first one I went through, and I told the story of how we even created this, because probably just like you, I practice, and you practiced for 17 years before you went to law school. I still practice, and I'm practicing less. I work 4 half days right now, so I have time to do other stuff like inside of Move Now and continue to build this out and support other doctors. But I never built this, or actually, I never had the intention of putting these systems together to train other people on it. It was for our own clinic. It was for us. You know, it was to do better with our patients. I saw a need. I saw areas that were lacking in other systems that I had been exposed to. So we created them. And then now, several years later, we have, I believe we're at 164 members who have access to our systems and are using them to all different sizes in their clinic. And the most exciting part about it is that we have connected with like-minded chiropractors. We've met so many great people.
Right.
We have a network of people that we've put together. That is priceless. That's the thing that really makes me feel satisfied with this and drives me to continue to put the energy into it.
Absolutely.
You know.
Yeah. Totally. I mean, absolutely. And I'll tell you what it's because the same with mine. You know, you get these people, and it's great when you get this like-mindedness and things just start to grow. But what's really nice is a lot of times practitioners, I know early on in my career, you're quiet. You know, you're kind of like you're maybe not as aggressive at asking questions. And one of the things I liked, especially when I was there in Idaho, almost said Utah, in Idaho, was the fact that you create an environment with your people where it's really where they can ask questions and not feel like, not feeling comfortable or not, you're sort of, hey, ask me the questions, because the more you implement this and the better you get at it, the more results you're going to find in your clinic. And the other thing that I'd say that is a huge selling point for your system, because it's so systemized, it allows anyone to actually go, okay, let's have associates and let's get these associates or other people doing these procedures just like you have in your clinic. You're not doing those procedures. You know, you're not doing all those procedures. Now you probably started out doing them.
Right. But as far as now, I have staff that is doing these different pieces of it. Correct.
Totally. Yep. So, I mean, you could have, or a doctor could have days, depending on how you wanted to do it, where you just had days where people were coming in and doing rehab. Mm-hmm. You know, so it's just, there's so many facets to, you know, what you can do with it. It's just, there's so many facets to it. And what I liked is I'm a numbers guy. When you showed me the numbers, it was like, ooh, I like those numbers. And remember, you know, people ask me, Todd, I remember I used to sell access to my program for $37 a month. Mm-hmm. Right? Can you imagine that? $37. Anyway. Mm-hmm. So I have a doctor call me up one time and he says, well, if I invest $37, what's my ROI? And I said, oh, 100%. He's like, what do you mean? I said, if you invest $37, you'll get $37 back. So you'll get $74. And he's like, well, why would I do that? And I said, doctor, if you invested and you knew you could get 100% gain with your investment right now in the stock market, you would go, you'd rent, you'd sell your house, you'd sell if it was guaranteed, right? You'd put all your money possible into it for 100%.
Sure.
Right. So whatever your price is, right? Here's the thing. What I know, the ROI on it is like astronomical if you just apply it. So all of a sudden I'm looking at him going, okay, geez, I'm making 30,000 more a month than what I was before I had rehab protocols in. Maybe not at first, maybe it takes a little while for me to bump that up. I'm making 30,000 more in services. It's 360,000 and I paid 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, whatever it is. I paid that amount of money. That's your ROI. Right. And the ROI is astronomical.
Yeah, it is.
So
I would agree. Yeah. And something that you said is you said as long as you implement it, and that is, let me see if I have this other screen pulled up. Yes, I do. I'm going to show you something real quick because you're saying if you implement it.
Yeah.
As long as you implement it. And that's a key thing out there because there's a lot of people that either they don't believe in the systems, like they don't believe it's going to work, or they don't believe in themselves. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Right? I mean, I think they just, you know, they get scattered for whatever reason. There can be a lot of different reasons.
Well, look, I'll show it right here. We got our triple vertical right here. I don't know how well this is good.
You got such good content. He creates good content.
Okay, so check this out. Check this out. Okay, so this is our Black Friday hookups. Let me see if I can stretch it a little more vertical. Okay, so we got 7 hours left. 7 hours and a minute. This right here highlights all the different stuff. Whoa, I'm jumping through it pretty quick. So it highlights everything in the program, everything that's offered. Okay, talks about all the different hookups, right? Now, here's the deal, though. That's not what I wanted to show you. I wanted to show you inside the program, inside the 12-week transformation, or sorry, inside of this T-minus 12 weeks, there's a ground zero section. And the very first thing that you do is you print out your success launch manual. And you print this out for you and everyone on your team. This is what's going to hold your hand and make sure that you implement. Not to mention on top of, if you need stuff, you connect on Marco Polo, which is a video app to me, my office manager, my exercise therapist. You send us messages. You say, hey, I have a question here. I got a problem here. You shoot a video of your clinic. You walk through this big empty area that you want to transform into the exercise area. And you say, help me see this vision. And I send you a video back going, here's how we did it. And so here's what you put here. Here's what you put here. Like I've literally helped just recently. I helped this one doctor. He just graduated. So he's building his first clinic. He sent me blueprints. I printed his blueprints out and I marked them up by hand, took a picture, sent it back to him. He changed how he was going to do his whole blueprints of his clinic because of something I recommended with how he was going to put his rehab area together. He was going to put a door on one side. And it was just not going to be a good flow. And I said, no, here's what you got to do. You put a big window right here. You have an entrance in the center so patients can go in both areas. And you put that right by the front waiting room so patients see it and they're exposed to it. And so he's like, okay, this is great. And, you know, he was going to have this big display for supplements and stuff. And I'm like, no, you're wasting space. Make that a consultation room. You don't even have a consultation room. You need a consult room, you know, and it was showing it. He was about to pull the trigger and build this thing out. Now, granted, This is a guy who's never built a clinic before. So other people watching this might say, oh, that's totally obvious. I'm just telling you, I'm willing to help with this stuff,
right?
Because I want everyone that goes into this to be a success story.
Well, here's the other thing I'm going to say to that, and mark my words. We're going to mark this. Okay. So this is the 29th of November. So when we're doing a Facebook Live, or we're doing a live next year, same time, here's what I'm going to say. You're not going to be able to deliver that level of service. You're going to have too many doctors. So doctors, you need to take advantage of that. I mean, you need to take advantage of what he's saying, which is pretty much direct contact and direct consultation with Dr. Pickman or with his people in this program. I mean, that's you know as well as I do, that's a service into itself.
Yeah, I want to show you one last thing. Everyone who's watching this right now, is that
I got to stop looking at this though. His content is so good.
So something that we did in here,
it is
well, something that we did, and here's why we did it, is because at one point I was just into creating content. I organized it, and I thought, okay, I floated it out. Here's how you implement it. And then we still had people asking questions, or we still had people who were like paused, right? So then I said, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to map out this 12-week implementation process. I'm going to make a video on each week. Week 1, for example, there's an 8-minute video. This video, you as the doctor watch this, then you play it in front of your team when you do your weekly group staff meetings for 12 weeks, which we lay out. We tell you how to do this. In addition to that, to give you little reminders, you and all your team, you initially go in here, you click on this button, and you put every single one of your staff person's name and email in, and it triggers a 24 email automation to give you 2 reminders each week, your whole staff, where they should be in the program, what they should be doing, and just reminding them to engage, and if they have questions, how to reach out. So this is what doctors do when they start. They enter all their staff into here. They start this automated process, and they start going through week 1 through week 12. They print out these success launch manuals. It breaks up 3 different departments. It doesn't even mean you have to have 3 staff. If you have a totally small clinic and there's just a doctor and front office person, and that front office person's helping with rehab, well, then you have 2 staff. I wouldn't recommend that. I'd recommend having at least 3 staff, because the whole point of this is to departmentalize your clinic. It's not for you to run around and do more work yourself as the doctor. It's to leverage your time so that you can take care of patients, you can handle what you handle, and you have staff that's helping with all these other services and communication. And so anyway, it breaks up week by week how many hours are allocated per each staff person for training. And then the way this prints, when it prints out, I got my copy right here actually. So how convenient is that? When it prints like this. So you got it on both pages. So on this other page, you have the accountability manager assigned. Let's say that's Mary, the office manager. She's going to make sure everyone's following along what they need to do. And then each one of the staff, so Mary, John, Joe, whoever, they all have their copies. They now commit to what day per week they're going to put in their 3 hours that week or their 5 hours that week, how they're going to break it up, and then it's executed. And so that's the theme inside of this program over and over again, is that it just makes it hard to not do it. I mean, if you follow the steps, you're going to do it. You're going to be successful. So I wanted to speak upon that point that you said of like, if you follow this, and that I think right there is the thing that most people, not just chiropractors, most people, when they're faced with something, it's either a couple of things. It's either they don't trust what they're faced with. They think, oh, it can't be that good. You know, there's no way. Because if it's that good, everyone will be doing it, right? There's that. Or there's they know from past history with themselves that they've done things and they let it sit on the shelf. They don't hold themselves accountable to it. They need someone else to help hold them accountable. They need systems to hold them accountable. And that's why we built the systems. And that's why we have our Facebook group. That's why we have our impact events. That's why we did all this stuff.
Right. Right. Well, the 2 things I'm going to say to that. One is, no matter what, people ask me, hey, would you recommend this consultant or that consultant, or Mark Student or Matt Digitano or Jeff States or Matthew Walker, or, any of these people out there in this business? And I say, yeah, do them all. You're always going to learn from somebody. You're totally going to learn from somebody. But the other thing for me, if I was still in clinic today, it's the coolest thing that you had that got me was like when you showed me, okay, great. You can have your patients have an app where you can assign them their exercises, and they can go to the website, they can go into a portal, and they can look, and they can have videos on how to do those home exercises. So now I virtually have a virtual home exercise portal in my clinic. I was like, okay, that's brilliant. And then of course my next question was, Todd, how'd you do that? Because it's just super added value to your service.
Yeah.
Super added.
All.
So listen, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer, doctors. If you're considering putting rehab in, put it in now. Spend your money, right? A lot of you are going to have some resources where you say, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I'm running into profit. I either got to expense the profit, or I have to actually take it myself and pay 35% tax on it or whatever. We're coming up to that portion of the year, right? So you look and you say, okay, good. Tax deductible. You put it in and you start to implement it and make 2021 even a more significant year stats wise.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what I've done for the last several years. Is at this time of the year, I look at what can I invest in for this next year. For both those reasons. One is, hey, it's a tax write-off. And the second thing is I want to be able to study something and do something that I'm excited about to launch January.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Cool. All right. Well, Dr. Cronk, I won't keep you any longer. I know you got stuff to do. Thanks for jumping on, though. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, Todd. Absolutely.
And I look forward to collaborating with you more this year. And then, of course, having you out here again, not in Utah, but Idaho in February.
Yeah. Sounds great.
Cool. All right, everyone. We got like 6 hours and change left before this thing is up. Let me tell you how much time exactly. You have 6 hours and 52 minutes and 40 seconds. So jump on it before it's gone. Thanks again, Dr. Cronk. All right. We'll talk to you later.
All right. Sounds good.